Hello everyone, I'm Major Jip, and today I'm going to be taking a look at another keyboard. This keyboard is an E-3LUE, 3LUE? I don't know how to say it. But they also call it an E-Blue, K753. So already there's a little bit of discrepancy. I don't know if the brand is E-Blue or E-3LUE, or if they're knocking off a company that's E-Blue. But yeah, this is a K753. It's a multicolor backlit mechanical keyboard, which means it's going to be different rows of different colors. It probably has some lighting effects. This is supposed to have blue switches in it, which would be nice. This was about $20 on eBay. Actually, when I bought it, it was $18.52 plus the local tax, brings it to $19.75. Now they have the same thing listed by the same seller for the same price, but they're charging $3 shipping, which brings it a little over $20. So, but it does apparently have some nice features, like a rainbow backlight and different themes for the backlight, different effects, blue switches, rated up to 50 million times, which I think is like the standard for Cherry, but this is not going to be running Cherry switches. It's probably going to be running the standard knockoff blue switches. Don't know which brand though. You never know. And the brand is E-3LUE. E-3LUE. I don't know. There's got to be some idea behind it. It's called the Mechanic, Combat R, Combat A, and E-3LUE. Alright, let's open it with a single slice of the bottom. Yeah, the listing also talks about how you could swap out the switches, which would be very nice if it's an interchangeable switch model. I have my doubts for this cheap, but we'll see. So we'll pop this. Oh, like to point out, I'm wearing a glove, not for any particular reason, apart from this hand's recovering from some burns, and it looks kind of hideous. So, wouldn't be so nice to look at. Hopefully it'll be healed by next time. Alright. Braided cable. That's a nice start. Then it's packaged very nice. That is actually looking pretty nice. No keys are falling off. I remember the last keyboard I looked at was a red switch model, and the spacebar came off. We'll set that here. Does it have an English manual? Anti-magnetic ring, braided fiber cable, high performance foot pastes, and an E-Blue plug. What? Okay. It does say, yeah, it definitely says E-Blue. So apparently this is going by multiple names. There's all your function keys, which apparently does all kinds of stuff. And apparently it is a Cobra EKM753. I don't think it's a Cobra. I don't know. There's something odd going on with a lot of these manufacturers. Seem to put their same keyboard under many different names. Some kind of warranty card, I would assume, but it's all in Chinese. Not gonna help me. Okay, it did come packaged nicely. It has these little foam things to keep it raised up. Throw the box aside. And this is the keyboard itself. Looks pretty nice, actually. Now, that is definitely a blue type switch. Curious what kind of switches it's running. It comes off like any traditional Cherry type keyboard. I don't know if you could read that, but it's apparently using JWH switches. I would assume it's just another name for these standard Chinese sort of clone key switches. This does appear to be aluminum. It is a pretty strong backplate. This doesn't feel much cheaper than my Red Dragons, which is sort of another budget keyboard. Nice feet on the bottom. Have a nice trail to put your cord into, and a little key puller. So far, I'm kind of liking the look of this thing. Do the lights work? Let's find out. It'd help if that computer was on. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm in the dark. Let's plug it into the computer and see what it does. Oh, that was interesting. Okay, so that's apparently the combination that just makes things flash around the key you hit. Function. That's fully lit. That's nice. And like most keyboards, it's probably function. Yep, it's got different lighting modes. It's actually blinking all of the lock keys. I guess because they're lit at full brightness anyway. Okay. Okay, this is the slow fade out effect, where whatever key you hit glows. This has no effect on key presses, it just kind of goes and does its thing. Well, that's useful. It just lights up the WASD, escape, and arrows, and the lock buttons always work. Interesting. Now, okay. I kind of like that one. That's a bit obnoxious, and you can slow it down and really speed it up if it's not distracting enough yet. Interesting. And I guess again you can speed that one up. Yes. Okay, that's pretty nice. Oh, I guess the lock buttons blink to let you know you've reached the end of adjustment. Yep. No, not at all. They light up anytime you do an adjustment. Even on the fast setting, that's not too bad. But on the slow, I like that. Alright, that lights up the whole keyboard every key press. And I think this is back to the one that we had before. Okay, that's it fully lit again. It actually, just in terms of hitting the keys, well, me failing miserably at typing because I'm at a weird angle, but I'm opening up pages on the computer, that's useful. Okay, let me turn the light back on. That didn't exactly adjust down very well. But in terms of functionality, it does seem to work. All the lighting modes work. It's got a pretty decent feel to it with that backplate. I want to know if the switches are easily replaceable. Let me take it apart. Taking it apart probably involves removing a few screws under here. I'm going to pause, figure that out, and I'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, I took all the keys off of the switches. I took all of the screws out, and I gotta say, the way that they made this is actually pretty nice. Like a lot of times you'd see under the space bar, you have little stabilizer bars. They actually use these little plastic inserts that lock onto the key and move with it. And it's the same as with all of these bigger keys, like the enter, the backspace. It has little guides to keep it so when you push the key, no matter what angle, it goes down nicely. All in all, seems to be a pretty decent keyboard. But let's pop the bottom off and see what it looks like. Okay, first things first, we're gonna get this connector out. Okay, didn't break. Kind of felt like it was going to, though. That's nice. The cable just disconnects. A lot of other keyboards, the ground wire stays attached with a little lug and you have to disconnect it. For a start, that is apparently the model number of the circuit board. It is it was from 4/26/2017, so it's at least an old board layout. That doesn't necessarily mean that's when this was made. It was just the last time the board was laid out. What sort of controller chip is it using? Oh, I knocked down my screwdriver. That is a VS11515A from my view, which seems to be doing everything. In fact, let me zoom in a bit. There we go. I should have done that in the first place. It seems pretty well laid out, honestly. Pretty typical of what you'd expect. That's another. That right there looks like it's from the same brand as that. I don't know what that does. I'd have to look up all these numbers. But I am noticing these keys don't seem like they're quick change type keys. They look pretty well soldered into place. I wonder if there is... I'm very tempted to desolder one of these keys just to see if there is some sort of connector, because I don't want to destroy this. And if I desolder it, I could always just resolder the switch back in. Let me heat up my desoldering iron. I'll see what it looks like under a key. Okay, so as you can see, I have desoldered one key, and I've actually found out that it does use interchangeable keys. There's your little sockets that the pins go into for the switches. So then I actually pulled out another switch, and you can see that's how they go in. But weirdly, the pins on these switches are much thinner than the pins on these switches. This is I believe this is a Box Navy by Call, whatever, and this is an OEM Cherry white switch. And as you can see, the pins are much smaller, so you probably have to get a type of switch that has a smaller pin, or it kind of looks like these ones were pushed in a little bit and sort of crushed to fit into these holes. I don't know. I've never really paid too much attention to the interchangeable keyboards. I've always just soldered them myself and desoldered. So that's interesting. Definitely not something I expected on such a cheap little keyboard. So altogether, I would say this is a pretty good find of a keyboard. If you can find it for 20 something bucks. It's built well. It's got the interchanging key feature, if that's something you're looking for, and if it's a standard thing to have the pins smaller than normal, then it should be right up your alley. I'm quite impressed. I mean, even the standard keys, the standard switches it came with, don't appear to be too bad. I mean, they have a good feeling. Who knows how long they're going to last. But a lot of these Chinese cloned switches have gotten pretty good. So, hopefully that's helpful. And feel free to leave any comments, especially if this is something that's very common. I just don't know about it, which is very possible, because I haven't paid much attention into this. So, thank you for watching. Major Jip signing out.